Father, thank you for this time we have together. I ask your blessing on these students as we finish up this last topic in chapter 1. Help them to understand the material and be able to get well prepared next Wednesday for the exam on Friday. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Okay, I didn't put problem number 2 on here on page 34 because I thought it was pretty straightforward. Are any of you having any trouble with the following circle graph is divided into 12 equal parts? That might be the first problem. It's 12 parts instead of 24 because there's 24 hours in a day. That just means each slice is worth 2 hours. So let's look at some of the questions. How many parts were spent sleeping? What color is sleeping? You're not going to tell me. Blue. How many slices are blue?
3.
3. 2 times 3 is 6. Somebody's not getting enough sleep. You need to get more sleep, people. I'm just telling you. You need to get more sleep. B. How many parts were spent watching TV?
2.
Watching TV is red.
2.
2. Now you need to take 2 of those hours from TV and go to sleep. Get some more rest. So, everybody see how you just run down there and ask those questions and look at to see what color it is and figure it out? Probably, I don't know. F, what fraction of the time was spent doing homework? I don't even want to talk about that. You see where homework is? It's that little dark blue thing right next to sleeping. So if 1 slice was spent doing homework, then how much would that be? 1/12? But it would also be 2 hours. So be sure you're checking to see what it is they're asking for. Okay, let's do problem 4. That's the one that gets a little tricky. If you want to feed a sea lion, the circle graph illustrates the answer. What does a sea lion eat? If you're in charge of feeding the stellar sea lions in the zoo, which food would you stock the most? Which is the bigger circle? What's the biggest part of the circle?
Fish.
So you would, this is not rocket science, is it? This is saying you're going to get a job at the zoo, you got to buy more fish than you do other stuff. Okay. So 4B, that's A, fish. 4B, if you buy 100 pounds of sea lion feed, how many pounds should be squid? How much of it is squid?
7%.
Let me change this to red. Easier to see this way. So, squid is 7%. So you take 7% of 100, or 0.07 times 100, and what do you get? You don't know? Get your calculator out if you don't know.
7.
7. And what they want to know? If you buy 100 pounds, how many pounds will be squid? 7 of them. If you buy 200 pounds, how many pounds should be squid? You double the feed, that means you get 14 pounds of squid. If octopus, shrimp, and crab, preferably in the same amounts, now that's tricky, the way they said that. Octopus, shrimp, and crab in the same amounts. So, other invertebrates, that's 30%. You see that? But if they're in equal amounts, then that means there's 10% octopus, 10% squid, where'd it go? Shrimp, and 10% crab. You follow what's going on there? So, you buy 300 pounds of seafood, how many pounds of crab should it contain? 10% of 300 would be 30 pounds. E, a male stellar sea lion weighs 2,200 pounds and eats about 200 pounds of food a day. How many pounds of fish does he eat? Now, see, I don't even care how much he weighs. I just say he eats 200 pounds a day. And fish is how much of that 200 pounds? I better get my calculator out here. I'm a little rusty. I'm a little dopey today. I don't know why. I didn't tell my wife I was sick. She tried to make me stay home. Stay home from math? I don't want to give it to you people, but that's not going to happen. 63% of 200 is 0.63 times 200 is 126 pounds. F, a female stellar seal weighs 600 pounds and eats 50 pounds. So she eats 50 pounds, and what they want to know for her is how many pounds of squid. So, and what's squid? Back at the picture, 7% of 50 pounds, 0.07 times 50, 3.5 pounds. Well, oh gee, how many pounds of shrimp does a female stellar sea lion eat every day? Shrimp is what? 10% of 50 pounds, 5 pounds. Number 6. The pie chart shows the fraction of each ingredient by weight used in making a sausage pizza. Did you know the crust is half of the pizza in weight? No wonder it's not good for you. That's sad. And what is it? Sauce, 0.125. Mushrooms, 0.05. Sausage, 0.075. Cheese, 0.25. And crust, 0.5. So you're going to have to know something about decimals unless you change them to fractions and do it that way. Sure, doesn't matter which way you do it. What fraction of the pizza is crust? Now they asked for a fraction, so what would be the fraction? 0.5 would be the same as 5/10. 5/10 reduces down to 1/2. What fraction of the pizza is cheese? 0.25, which would be what? 25 over 100? What does 25 over 100 reduce down to? 1/4. Okay. What ingredient makes the smallest part of the pizza by weight? What is it? What's the smallest thing in that picture?
Mushroom.
Mushrooms. D, if you estimate that a pizza weighs 4 pounds, how many pounds would be crust and how many pounds cheese? How much of it is crust? Half of it, if it weighs 4 pounds and the crust is 2 pounds. And how much is cheese? What's cheese? 1/4 of it. So 1/4 of 4 pounds would be 1 pound. If you're going to make 100 of these 4-pound pizzas, how many pounds of cheese would you need? If each pizza needs 1 pound of cheese and you're going to make 100 of them, you would need 100 pounds of cheese, right? Is that right? 1 pound of cheese for each pizza? If the pizza weighs 4 pounds and 1/4 of the pizza is cheese, 1/4 of 4 pounds is 1 pound. If you're going to make 100 of those, you would need 100 pounds of cheese. Okay? Number 8. The following chart shows the leading cause of death in the United States in 1973 and 1996. Now, here's where you'll get caught when it comes test time on this kind of problem. They will ask a question, and you have to make sure you're looking at the right chart. The top one is 1973. The bottom one is 1996. And the first question says, list in order the top 4 causes of death in 1973. So, of the two, now guess what? You have a natural inclination, when you look at that question and go up there, you have a natural tendency to stop at 1996. Just go to the first one you come to, and you'll miss it. So be careful when you're taking the test next week for this stuff, that look at it carefully. And in 1973, top of the page, what were the top 4 causes of death? What was the top one?
Heart disease.
Heart disease. What was next? 22.5. What is that? Other. What was next?
Cancer.
17.7. Cancer. And what was next? 10.9. Is that the next one? What was 10.9? Cerebrovascular. The blood vessels in the brain start leaking.
Brain damage.
I think, do we call that a stroke?
Probably.
They just have a fancy word for it. B, list in order the top 4 causes of death in 1996. Put your finger on the 1996 chart. And what was the top one? They want them in order. So what was the top one? 31.7.
Heart disease.
Blue, heart disease. What was the next one after 31?
Other causes.
25, which was other. What's after 25? Don't do that to me. What is that all about? I don't know what's going on. There we go. Okay. Has a mind of its own. So 31, 25, 23, and what's the next one? 6.9, stroke again. Which type of death decreased the most from 73 to 96? From 73 to 96, which one decreased? 22 to 25, that went up. 17 to 23, that went up. 10.9 to 6.9, that went down. And 38.4 to 31.7. Which one decreased more?
I think it was heart.
What did it say? What's blue? What's blue? Other causes. What type of death increased the most between 73 and 96? From 73 to 96, which one had the greatest increase? Whoa, that's pretty obvious, isn't it?
Cancer, yeah.
17.7 to 23.3, cancer. E, go to http://www.infoplease.com and answer questions A through C using the current year data. Well, that was fun. Guess what I found? H, C, CL, and A were the largest. That's 2014 too. Just in case you're wondering how current that is. I don't have enough to do I? I must not have a real life if I spend time looking stuff up that the math book says, go check it out, see what it's like. I just love this stuff. Okay, number 10. Refer to the circle graph showing where the federal government dollars come from. This you need to know. 10A. From what source does the federal government get the most money? And what is it? That big green area, 48%. And what is that called?
Income tax.
Individual income tax. You get a paycheck from work, and they took a whole bunch of money out, and you go, what is going on here? In this country, you have to pay a tax to the federal government for the privilege of working and earning wages. Yeah? Well, wait a minute. That's not all of it. They take that income tax out. Well, won't a lot of you get that money back if you don't make too much money at the end of the year? They'll give you a refund and give it back to you. But there's one on there that they won't give back to you. B, 10B. What's the second largest source of money for the federal government?
insurance.
Blue, social insurance payroll taxes. Have you seen that on your paycheck? It's called FICA, F-I-C-A. And they take a big chunk out of your paycheck and send it to me. All I can say is thank you very much. I appreciate your contribution. Or they send it to your grandparents or whoever you like down the road, somebody. But thank you for making my life easier. But isn't that amazing how much of the tax dollar comes from income tax and Social Security, FICA? I don't know where they're going to get all the money to do all the things they want to do in Washington. They say we'll take it from the rich people. The rich people don't pay taxes like the rest of us do. We're the ones that are funding the government. They'll just have to raise the rate to get more money from us to do the things they want to do. And I've always been bothered by this. If you go to Washington and work as a representative or a senator, you no longer are on Social Security. They have their own retirement program. I say, if Social Security is good enough for the rest of us, guess what? It's good enough for the people in Washington who are making the laws. Somehow they seem to think they're an entitled bunch of people. Okay, C, individual income tax, 48% will raise about $900 billion. Now this is kind of tricky. Look what it just said here. 48% of total income tax is 90 billion. See what they said? They said individual income tax will raise 900 billion. 900 billion. So 48% of the total income tax is 900 billion. So take 0.48 times T equals 900. T would be 900 divided by 0.48, which is 1,875 billion. Billion. And then question C has another question. Watch for these ones that have two questions in them. Estimate how much money the federal government will receive. Oh, we did it. 1,875. Which is about, CIT equals 10% of the total. So which is about 19 billion. 10% of the total. Number 12. Now, people who abstain from drinking do what? The guy who wrote this book apparently is being subsidized by the alcohol industry. He puts so many of these goofy problems in there. So I guess if you take up drinking, you're not as apt to have a stroke. You'll just destroy brain cells and destroy your liver, but you won't have a stroke. You'll die from something else. So skip. Oh, you don't do 12 anyway. So we're going to skip 12 and go to 14. Okay, this is another important piece of information for you people. At what time do fatal accidents occur? Refer to the graph. What is 14 talking about here? What's 14A? Find the number of fatalities between 12 and 3 a.m. Where's 12 and 3 a.m.? Right at the top, the first one. How many fatalities between 12 and 3 a.m.? 23. What's B? How many fatalities between 3 and 6? That's the next one. 8. How many, C, what's the most likely time period for a fatal traffic accident to occur?
6 p.m. to 9.
Which one's got the longest bar? What is that?
6 p.m.
6 to 9 p.m. My poor daughters, when they were teenagers, I said, whatever you do, get home before 6 and don't go back out till after 9. That's when teenagers are running over each other. And other people too. 36. That's so sad. Aside from unknown, what's the least likely time period for a fatal traffic accident? apart from unknown. Unknown is the smallest, 5. But what's the next one after 5?
8.
8. Why would there be so few people in accidents from 3 to 6 in the morning?
Nobody's up.
Everybody's home in bed, or most people are. Number 16. Do you have a computer at home? The bar graph? Oh, I didn't do that when I went to 18. Let's go to 18. Number 18. Which has more calories, ice cream or yogurt? Do you know the answer to that question? Ice cream. You people want to eat healthier? I just love ice cream, so what I had to do was find some kind of yogurt that I can open up at home. My wife will give me some and I'll go, this is just like eating ice cream. Now, it's not exactly the same, but if I keep telling myself that, I'm going to be a little healthier than I was last year. But ice cream just is full of bad stuff. 18A, how many calories are in the Cherry Garcia ice cream? Okay, there's Cherry Garcia on the left and cookie dough on the right. Cherry Garcia, what are we looking for? Ice cream. Yogurt is orange, ice cream is blue. So, Cherry Garcia ice cream, how many calories? Blue, how many calories? What did I put down? 240? 200? 225? And it goes a little bit up halfway between 225 and 250. See what I'm doing? I'm trying to figure out what it would be. Did you think it was something different? What would you have said it was? 250? No, it's not that high. 230? 235? The keyed answer is 240. So if you said 235 and you looked at the back and it was 240, you're close enough. Okay? So don't check that wrong when you're grading your paper. Don't check it wrong if you're close. If you're way off, then you check it wrong. 18B, how many calories are in the Cherry Garcia yogurt? I said 150. Cherry Garcia yogurt is tan, is orange or whatever that is. 150. How many calories are in the cookie dough ice cream? Cookie dough, ice cream is blue. How many calories? I said 290. What do you think? Guess what the keyed answer was? 280. So don't check it wrong. Just there's a difference in how you're reading the graph. D, how many calories are in the cookie dough yogurt? Cookie dough on the right, yogurt is orange. Go up to the top. What is that? What did I put down? 180. That was the keyed answer. Oh, good. Number E, which is the product with the least calories? Now, you just look at the picture and say, which one is the shortest one? And it's the orange one under Cherry Garcia. Cherry Garcia yogurt. Which is the product with the most calories? Cookie dough ice cream. Is that telling you anything? When you go to the store, don't buy cookie dough ice cream. It's just not good for you. It's just bad stuff. Why did they put ice cream on sale anyway? They're trying to get us all to eat it so we'll want it and then come back and buy some more. Just pass it up. Just tell them, you're not going to do that to me. Number 20. What's the most popular spectator sport in Japan? Oh, I didn't do that one. I went to 22 because I didn't want to run out of time. Well, let's do it anyway. What's the most popular spectator sport in Japan? Look at the picture. Which green bar is the longest? Japanese baseball. You say, is there a difference? Have any of you ever watched Japanese baseball? It's a gentleman's game in Japan. Nobody gets mad and kicks the dirt and throws a bat and runs over somebody. It just wouldn't be a kind thing to do. It's really cool. Number 20. What's the second most popular sport? Second most popular. What is it? Are there three of them that are tied, or is one of them longer than the other two?
They're all tied.
They're all tied? That's what the keyed answer says. It looks to me like that one in the middle might be a little longer, but I'm just looking at it funny. What's the least popular spectator sport in the survey? Martial arts? Or nothing in particular? What percent of the people preferred this sport? 10%. See the numbers, percent across the bottom? C, name the three sports that enjoyed about the same popularity in the survey. Marathon, high school baseball, and I don't even know what that is. Anyone know what EKIDEN is? None of you been to Japan? Google it and see what it says, just for fun.
Long distance
How-
running.
What?
Long distance running.
Long distance running. D, 20D. How many more people prefer Japanese professional baseball than Major League Baseball? Whoa, Major League Baseball only has 15% that like it, and Japanese baseball has 50%. So that would be from 15 to 50, 35% more. Well, let's go over here and page 41 and make some sandwiches. Here's the menu at this Cuban cafe. Which was the most popular sandwich sold?
The Cuban.
The Cuban. B, which was the least popular sandwich sold?
Cuban special.
What would be the difference between a Cuban and a Cuban special?
It includes croquettes in the special.
I'll bet the special doesn't have all the stuff on it that the Cuban has. I was in Brazil one time and went up to this little stand and I said, I'll take a hamburger. And he said, you want a complete one? I said, no, just a hamburger. And my missionary friend said, oh yeah, I want a complete one. A complete one? They put bacon and eggs. I mean, they take what's left over from breakfast and put it on the sandwich. And it was amazing. And I thought, man, why didn't I order a complete one? So if I ever go back to Brazil, I'm going to order a complete one. Each sandwich, C, requires a fourth of a loaf of Cuban bread. Estimate how many sandwiches were sold and how many loaves of bread were needed. How many sandwiches did they sell? Where did I put it? Let's see, 80 and 10. See what I'm doing? 80 for Cubans, 10 for Cuban specials, 20 for an Alex, and 40 for a pork sandwich, which comes up to 150. And if you have 150 sandwiches, how much bread is used for each sandwich? A fourth of a loaf, is that right? So that means I would take 150 and divide it by 4 to get the total number of loaves that I need. to make those sandwiches, because one loaf makes 4 sandwiches. And it says I need 37 and a half. So what am I going to buy? I'm going to buy 38 to make sure I don't run out. Probably buy 40, then I can take some home afterwards. 24 on page 42. What's here? The graph shows the annual percent change in consumer price indexes. Well, this gets a little complicated. Okay, what colors? How many different colors are there on this graph? Can you see them? There's green and what?
Blue.
And blue, and what's the other color?
Black.
Black. Is that it? Is gray one of the graphs too? Nope, this looks like that's a straight line at 0 to show when it goes down and up, below or above 0. So we've got medical care, all items, and fuel oil. Now that you kind of got your head wrapped around the picture, what's the first question? Which item has the highest percent change in the year 2000? So run your thumb over across the page to 2000 and say which one had the highest, the annual percent change in consumer price index. Which one had the highest change? Fuel oil. You see that? What was the percent change? 50%. Estimate the percent decline in medical care from 1990 to 2000. 1990 is where it started. What was medical care on the consumer price index? 10. What was it in 2000? Take your little index card that you put in your book to use for a ruler, lay it down there and see what happens. Does it look like medical care was about 5 when you got over to 2000?
Yeah.
That's what the keyed answer is. And if you said 4 or 6, and you check the back of the book when you're grading your paper, don't check it wrong. Just you're close enough. $26. Do you want to be a teacher? Say, no. Well, the graph shows the average annual salary for public elementary and secondary school teachers from 1970 to 2000. What was the average salary in current dollars? Okay, current dollars is the green graph. Constant dollars is the blue graph. Looking at the green graph, what was the average salary in 1970-71? Put your finger on 70-71. Look up to the green, and what was the average salary? What number is right above 70? On the green line.
10,000.
$10,000. In 2000 and 2001, what was it?
40,000.
40,000 or a little bit more? The keyed answer said 40,000. I thought it was more like 42.5 or something. What's the dollar difference between 10 and 40? Since that's the keyed answer, 30. What was the average salary in constant dollars in 1970? Go up and look at the blue line, 1970, 40,000. In 2001, go up to the blue line. $42.5 or 42. The keyed answer said 40 again, but it sure doesn't look like it to me. Well, maybe I drew my line crooked. Maybe that's what happened. All right, are salaries going up? I don't know, are they? They probably will be. If all the other wages are going up, they'll probably start raising teacher salaries too. 28. Do you want a loan or a grant to help you pay for college? Neither. I want a job. So when I graduate from college, the bills are all paid, right? Besides, my daughters, when they were teenagers, came home from school and said, Dad, my friend on her 16th birthday is getting a car. Her parents are buying it for her. I said, well, isn't that nice? Any idea what they said next? Are you going to buy me a car when I turn 16? You want a car? Get a job, girl. I'll go pick you up from work till you save enough money to buy a car. And then you can go buy one. Shame on me. Hey. So what happens when my grandson needs a car? Oh, well, that's different. When I'm a father, I do one thing. When I'm a grandfather, whoa, that's a whole different ballgame. And my daughters go, Dad, you didn't do stuff like that for us. I said, yeah, you weren't a granddaughter, you were a daughter. There's a difference. Okay, loans and grants, 28A. What percent of student aid was loans in 1989? Go to the bottom line, 1989, go up to, which one is loans?
Red.
The red one. So what is that? See, the keyed answer, I think, was 50%, but it looks like red is like 51 and blue is like 49. But obviously, I missed it, but don't check it wrong because you're close enough. What percent of the student aid was loans in 2001? Go over to 2001. Go up to red line for loans. And what was that? Whoa, 59%? Wow. The keyed answer was 60. I still say 59. Number 30. We've already done cat stuff. We'll just go on and do something else. What else do we have here? 28. 32. Ah, there's a picture on page 44. If you pay $25 a month to pay off a $1,000 balance on a credit card, blue is $25 a month. It's going to take you 60 months to pay it off. And I did the math already. And when you get through paying it off, you pay $1,500 for that $1,000 loan. If you're going to use a credit card. And I like the fact that you can pay at the pump, but just remember, don't carry a balance over. Just at the end of the month, pay it off. You say, well, I don't have enough money. Then next month, don't buy so much stuff. Just say, I will live within my means. It's not difficult. Okay, it's not difficult. I need a new shirt. My wife says I can't wear some of my shirts with these pants because they have stripes on them. I go to Kohl's with my 30% off. Even with 30% off, they still want 15, 20 bucks for a shirt. I can go to Red Rack after church on Sunday and buy one for 50 cents. You go, yeah, but is it all torn up? Well, you tell me. Does this shirt look like it's all torn up? No, no. There's a way to keep from having all that balance build up. Just live cheap. Just figure out ways to live within your means. It's very exhilarating. If I wasn't sick today on the way home, I'd stop by the grocery store just to see if they marked down some meat that they didn't sell yesterday because the weather turned bad. I mean, I grew up on a farm where you eat steak like people in town eat hot dogs because we raise beef. So I have a little bit of an appetite for steak. When I can find a $13 a pound ribeye steak for $5, I buy it and take it home and have my wife cook it on the George Foreman grill for my lunch. Love it. I don't do it very often, but every now and then you find some real good deals at the store. Okay, 32. What's your balance after 6 months if you're paying $25 a month? That's the blue line. So after 6 months, see where that month's down at the bottom? 06. Run up there, and where's the number? Is that about 950? $34. What's your balance after 18 months if you're paying $25 a month? That's still the blue line. 18 months, go over to 18, go up. Where does the blue line cross? Run over to the left. What number is it? 800, right? Everybody see what we're doing? 36. What's your balance after 60 months if you're paying $25 a month? 60 months, 0, you paid it off. But if you take $25 a month times 60 months, you get $1,500. Just not a good decision. Stop when you get to 35. So it looks like we're done. And it looks like I made it. I didn't get dizzy and faint, so I wasn't standing up. When you're old and you get dizzy, you sit down, folks. You sit down. Stop when you get... we don't have class on Monday. On Wednesday, we'll do the practice test at the end of chapter 1. And on Friday, I'll bring an exam in here and lay it on the table. You can bring your notes with you. You can bring your calculator with you. You can even bring your practice test. So you have stuff to look at to help you sort through the test. And I might as well tell you, it's a multiple choice test. And you are not going to like it. Because the guy who wrote the test knows what kind of answers you tend to think would be right when they're wrong, and he puts those down as one of the choices. He messes with you. But the reason I'm using tests like that, probably in the future, anytime you have to demonstrate your math proficiency down the road, it'll be with a multiple choice test. So not only do you need to be learning math here, you also need to learn how to take a multiple choice test. And I'm just telling you, some of you are going to come in here and go, oh, that's the obvious answer. That's an obvious answer. You're going to take your test. You're going to turn it in. I'm going to grade it and put your grade up on Canvas. And you're going to go, what? So I'm just telling you, be very careful when you're reading the test. And don't let the guy who wrote the test distract you with an erroneous answer. He puts a whole bunch of them in there to try to mess with your head. Okay. We're out here. Have a happy, healthy weekend. And what are you going to do on Monday? Hey, it's Martin Luther King Day. Get on the internet and find something famous or something profound that Martin Luther King said and send it to all your friends on Facebook or something. Oh, don't put it here. Put it over on that table. You don't want to get close to me, girl. I'm contagious, I'm sure.
I had a question for my homework.
Okay, I'll turn this off.
Do you have the same one? Oh, okay. I thought you said yeah.